So, Kenya, third season of Blackish, you guys have really hit a stride getting in for comedy series last year. What did that recognition mean for you guys?
Beyond appreciative. I think that you say you don't do this for the awards, but of course you would love them if they come. I think the bigger thing is that we're trying to get, everyone's trying to say, how do we get eyes to watch our show? And I think those types of things help. So that's always what it, always helps. At the same time, you work late, long hours. You see the crew killing yourself. You see the cast killing yourself. So to get some kind of recognition feels like, oh, maybe it's not for nothing. So I think that's always it's always appreciated.
You guys, in your 3 years, have dealt with some really hot button issues, really relevant issues. How do you?
I'm going to look you up as I'm talking to you.
Okay.
See what you voted on Gold Derby for. So go ahead. I'm going to judge you.
How do you find the comedy in some of these issues?
I think there's comedy in everything. Honestly, I've been in a funeral and standing next to my friend and we're giggling. So I feel like if you can't laugh at something, it's over for you. I feel like the hard part about it is being respectful, finding the core, the root thing that you're talking about, so that you make sure that you don't lose that. But comedy, I always say this has a really interesting sort of power. It's like sugar. And it'll let you take the medicine down. You take a spoonful of sugar, and now you can take the medicine. And so if you can make people laugh, you can make them, first, you can make them hear different things that they weren't really necessarily thinking they were going to hear in a comedy, and accept them in a different way.
And particularly in the Lemons episode. Talk about the genesis of that episode.
It was probably the same thing you were going through when you went into the days you went into work. People were like, oh my God. I'm saying everyone was having their things, and I was going through it with my room, going through it at home, seeing it on television, and just some things happened, and it was like, I was not going to write last year. I was like, I have to write about this. And so was able to sort of shift some things around, wrote really quickly, and was like, we were able to get something done, right before the inauguration. So that was the point. We wanted to have a healing and also very prescient, effect on the viewer. And hopefully it did.
It certainly did, I think. And you, through Anthony, and
he did an amazing grade.
Oh yes, absolutely. I mean, he's giving voice to frustrations that a lot of us probably don't even think about.
Yes.
Until we're watching a television show.
Right. I mean, I think that's something. It's crazy. House of Cards, one of my favorite shows. It's not as crazy as what's really going on.
Right.
So it's hurt the show. And I'm like, it used to be like, Frank is insane. It's like, Frank's a moderate now.
Looks like a better president.
Yes, it used to be like, this is crazy. Now it's like, it's not crazy. So, I mean, it's often funny how art imitates life. And it now is art imitating life is not imitating it enough. So, I mean, that's where we're at. So I feel like that is sort of the fuel that we're taking into the room. Is that we're in a different place.
Add to that this season, Beau's pregnancy. Talk about, you guys have that as sort of a through line throughout the season. Can you talk about how that affected your stories?
Yes, it was very much so running congruent with my own life. My wife just had our kid, and he was 2 months pregnant, so 2 months premature. We also felt like we wanted to tell stories about an older mom, and what that was like, and this is probably going to be her last kid, and Tracee was just a soldier. She had to wear, a prosthetic all season, and it was miserable, but at the same time, it also gave her a little bit of it's probably miserable being pregnant, So I think that we were really fortunate in that we got to do stories that ran congruent with real life, and at the same time gave the actress something to sort of, feed on.
Another awards-related question. If you guys win the Emmy for Comedy Series this year, you'd be the first primarily black sitcom to win Best Comedy Series since The Cosby Show. What would that recognition mean for you guys?
A bigger check. It would be amazing. Honestly, it would be. I think at a time right now when so many niche groups are sort of being taken and put on the outside, and we're sort of going back to some sort of caveman sort of way, to have something that's a group that sort of has been niched be recognized by the mainstream. I think it speaks for all groups. You know, it kind of says that we're sort of the underdog, and we love that, and to sort of be able to speak to the audience in that way and to the voters in that way would be it would mean a lot to us.